Good morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If that I just thought of. So, in this if I will go over the what if Deku was a Zillow beast. So, before we get jumping right into it, I'll explain what Zillow beast is. It's a 3 arms, basically 3 arms monster with a tail, and yeah. Here. I am gonna use the here. Let's do, because I know that some of you, yeah. So this is the Zillow beast. So, yeah. I will use the bad batch pictures from it into the, yeah, like these things from it, and to be added to the, yeah. So let's begin. I am adding zooming to this what if, and yeah, I am also giving Zuku, the Zillow beast, a quirk that is called the flame electricity, or I can't even say it. Flaming electricity. Yeah. So, yeah. So, let's begin. Let's start with, in the past. So, the aliens came to Earth and they brought their beast. Of course, the beast was defeated and got killed off, as it needed something to, for cloning. So the villains decided, or actually a doctor here decided to, because when Inko and Nasashi was getting their blood thing, well, the Quark Doctor secretly used the clone, or not clone, Huns. So yeah. Ugh. Sorry, this isn't working today, so I'm talking about the game. So, yeah. So, yeah. So, basically, So the doctor took the clone, or the blood samples of Inko and Nasashi, See? And made their combined one. And what did they do? They combined the blood to create Zuko, his blood thing. And also the combined of the I can't even say it. Zillow beast. As when Inko and Natashi, or when Inko gave birth to Zumi, see? Zumi see? She ends up like all healthy and happy, but sometimes she is linked to her or to the Xylo Beast thing. She's basically every night she keeps hearing, "Let me out," as she she's kept tiring herself out. And that's when she was age of 3. Or 2. It all began. As she has fake memories of her brother. So, yeah. And for this, let me explain before I could see you guys going to comments and, typing up, "Oh, the Zyro Beast doesn't, be friends with anyone." Well, in this What If universe, Zylo Beast in this What If is different from your average typical one. So, let's continue. So, yeah. So, every day she's so tired out. And she can't handle it. As her favorite hero, All Might, doesn't even know what's going on. Even Bakugo doesn't know one, but Zumi told or let's say a detective was or actually, she kind of gets bad headaches as she tells Zumi, or no, actually Zumi tells Inko about her dream and the voices. She still hears voices in her head. And she went through a lot of therapy. But then in order to deal with when she has to, as she goes to the team, or she goes to the source of it, and turns out it was a villain's base of operations. Thank goodness there was not very many security guards at there. As All Might is trying to, as she snuck in, and as she basically gets closer, as she could thing that was in she was standing next to it was actually the same one that, as she looks at it, as she sees the Zillow beast inside, with his fist clenching and roaring at, and no one's paying attention to her. Yeah. So then the heroes like were trying to, or so they all like go in and like they were like, or so the villains got ambushed by the heroes, as there's a little one, but he did eventually got out and ate most of the villains, as he turns and looks at Zumi. But when Zumi looked at the monster, she didn't see a monster. She saw her own brother standing there, as he was tired out. More than Zumi, as she looks at him, as Zumi was like, "Brother, we need to get out of here." Agreed, as Zuko says. And as the Zuko ran, and because he never been outside of the facility, so then he's always been experimented on. After he was created, he was always experimented on, and that made him angrier at the villains. But he has no, like, he is not angry at his own sister, but the opposite of anger. He loves his sister. Sure. He cares about her. So, yeah. After they left, the heroes did blow up the entire like villain base, and But no one died, so yeah, that's good. So then when the villains were trying to were trying to stop the Zuko and Zumi from escaping, Zuko just straight up headbutts them, right in the head. So then, so he looks at, as he did hit the other guys, as he got out pretty easily with Zumi, as he kept her safe, as he doesn't want her to die, as he knows that he, yeah. But you know who else came out was none other than his own kids too. So his own two beautiful daughters, her and her. Yeah. And before you go into the and typing up the oh, Zillow Beast didn't have kids, and the one that was in the Bad Batch was as the was cloned, not the basically the kid. But let me remind you, they're her and her are his kids because he's a different kind of he's different kind of Zalo Beast. Yeah, and he basically was basically he was pretty tough. So, I don't want to see any comments saying oh, that was wrong and you should redo it. And I might even challenge I forget his name, the Ravenclaw. What if or Own your boy Own thing? So yeah. So now to make a better version. So now let's do this. Ready? Set. No. So his two beautiful daughters went with him, with Zumi, as he know how to shapeshift into their human counterparts. Zuko is still learning how to shapeshift because he was born with that talent, but he doesn't know how to use it properly. So he's a Zillow beast that is. So then Inko Isashi, or so Zumi went home, and Inko knows that she doesn't, or she told Zumi that she couldn't have, like, she could had kids, but she could have had Zumi's brother, but it takes a long time. But Zumi was happy. Not because of the Inko not giving her the brother, but she's happy that there's, so yeah. So over time, he starts devouring electricity. As he feels so much power. And, yeah. So then when he got bigger, when he got big boy sized, he's fully grown, and he basically yeah, she basically, or he basically learns to control as he transforms into a human when he woke up. As his sister, or no, not his sister, his daughters, owners looked at him, and they know that the Zalo beast is still there. But when he got up, he was, first of all, he was naked, basically, when he transformed into a human. He had long hair, like how Zumi's his hair. Sorry. So Zumi ends up, so Zuko says, or tries to speak, because he looked at the TV, or his daughters did get him some fresh pair of clothes, as he puts on underwear, pants, shirt, and he learns how to speak like a human. Yeah, and so, yeah, he basically talks like a human, and he never had, yeah. He looks around, and his own daughter, one of his daughters is smarter, as so basically yeah, because his daughters are, oh, sorry. So his daughters are pretty tough, too. Sorry. The amount they heart thing. Oh, no. So he ends up being like, he's a fast learner. He learns how to speak. Instead of him roaring all the time, he talks like a human. So he ends up going to, or so he's just a 15-year-old. As he learns how to speak, like he got homeschooled, or basically he taught himself how to talk. So, but his first words were, I am Zuko. Oh. As the, and his favorite saying is, we are family. Because he always uses it in his sentences. Like, beginning sentence, and we say, he says we protect each other's, and like, all that sayings afterwards. So then his daughters, let's say he had, when he was in prison thing, getting experimented on, he had 500 kids because this Zillow beast was cloned, and so they used Zillow beast, Asashi, Inko, and a frog, basically. And the frog's, like, gender, her, like, swap thing, made him from girl to a boy, or vice versa. So he had a lot of kids. So, yeah. And only 2 of them survived. And as he looks at his first daughter, Anna, as he's trying to figure out what name she would be. Like, because both of them, they do have, like, kind of like it would be that both of them would be called, like, Maximal or I don't know, but a female name that she would be Nova, like basically Demon Lord Meline, or yeah, Meline Nova. Basically, that's what her name is. And the other is called Crystal. Yeah. I like the word crystal because it's just how it is. So, yeah. So he's still trying to figure it out. But that will stick because the, yeah. So then as they both said, okay, Father, will he, yeah. So they go into town. As he looks around, as he is still learning how to walk like a normal person, as he turns his sights and he sees his sister was just talking to Inko. Oh, as Zumi actually told Inko that the voices that were inside my head are gone. And as he starts, or as he walks up, or actually, he goes to UA with his two daughters. And he sees Zumi there, and Zumi is basically and Bakugo hasn't really met Zuko, so he doesn't know what Zuko looks like. So, Zuko was pretty much is qualified for it. He's my friend, as or actually, yeah, as Inko and or not Inko, the music makes, or everybody's like, okay. So Zuko ends up basically with his two daughters, ends up rampaging right through, or he does it in his human form. That yeah. As Zuko actually had all the copy data thing, or because of his daughter, copied all the information into a thumb drive thing before it exploded. So then yeah. So then, yeah. So Zuko was basically, he hasn't met, or so Bakugo kind of gets annoyed that someone is ripping off Zumi's hairstyle. As Zuko looks at him, as he's like, what? As as her, she tells him that he's just mad at you so that because your hairstyle. Oh, okay. And what's his name? What's your name? As Bakugo says, I'm Kosuke Bakugo. No, nice to meet you. I'm Zuko. Oh, oh. The, um, so, Zuko's, or Bakugo was like, man, the, are you also trying to play off of the Zumi? No, no. And Zuko does kind of know how to, like, do certain things around, but because of he's lacking that understanding it fully. So Bakugo's like, man. So then after the exam, Nezu wants to, like, ask him some personal questions. As Zuko basically doesn't understand it really well, so he looks at his sister, or not sister. I meant his daughters. As as his, as the daughter said, he's kind of newer around here, so he's or some stuff that is he doesn't know how to speak properly. So but he knows what you're saying. It's just he he hasn't been. So when you know that or not, or you have not seen the or heard about Zyro Beast. Oh yes, I have. It was when first encountered the monster. And sir, monster? Yeah. Well, you or me, or actually, she basically told Nezu that my father, Zuko, is a Xylo beast. So if you, as Nezu's like, oh, but this is a personal one. What did they do what did they do to you? They cloned me, experimented on me, yeah, trying to, like, figure out the ways to destroy me or any other types of Xylo beasts. Man, and yeah. And Zuko looks at, as he tells Nezu that the, and there was this one girl that appeared before, like, rest of you came. Her name is Zumi Midoriya, right? Yes. As Nezu finally gets it, as he basically says, "Sir, it's just how can you do that?" Or actually, Ninzu asks Zuko, "How did you know that she was coming to get you out of there?" The voices that were inside her head were actually messages. As I'm still learning. Of yeah. So yeah. So his sister, or no, not his sister, his daughter walks around to Nezu as she gives Nezu the chip thing, the thumb drive, and had all the information on it, and he says here, or she says here you go. Yeah. And Nezu looks at her, huh. Yeah, and then yeah. So then so Nezu's like, "You're in class 1A, but we'll keep a watchful eye on you." Oh, and so yeah, Zuko goes back to, or he actually goes to a abandoned area, like the building that no one knows about. And so then now we switch over to the heroes. They had the meeting after talking about, like, there's cool cadets, but there's one interesting, the so-called Zuko. Yeah, I had a talk with him, as Nezu says. But when I scanned the data thing, there was a lot of information about it was cloning the Zillow beast to try to kill it from Emmett. So yeah, that stuff. So you're saying that the Zillow beast was getting, or trying to get killed by the villains, and trying to also taking control of it? That's kind of messed up. Yes, and and in the script that I made was that he was unstable one, but I kind of changed it at the very last second of him being a completed version. So he's completed, so before. So, yeah, to save some time. Now, let's see how long this video took. Let's see. Okay. That's perfect because, yeah. Because you don't really see too many of the Zalo Beast things. Zalo Beast. That lane. in only in 2 movies. Or no, not 2 movies. 2 episodes of in the Star Wars The Clone Wars, and couple times of in the clone, or so the a Bad Batch, basically. So yeah, they basically Zaku is, so I'm making it into a movie. So, give me a minute to put this. There's a device on my wrist that keeps popping off. So, give me a minute. There we go. Sorry about that. So, let's get back into the story. So, Nezu tells Zaku, Nezu tells the pro heroes that they have their own Zillow beast named Zuko Midoriya, or Zuko. But they don't know that So, he meets, Bakugo and Zuko, Zumi and Zuko hanged out a lot as she got properly introduced him to her family. As the Zuko says, "Hi, I'm Zuko. It's an honor meeting you." Oh. As Inko and Nasashi are confused. Because they thought it was as they that and there's only 3 types now. There's 2 little ones and then there's 1 big one. So so then Zumi says, he's actually a clone of So let's continue. So a time skip. 2 All Might versus All for One. All Might, because stuff happens normally, but because of time zone, or because of the time, so he did attend UA, and he goes to USJ, and he did knock the Nomu out of existence, and and his both sisters didn't, or no, not both sisters, his both daughters still alive, and so, and then plus during the sports festival, of course, who was the one that there's two girls that have a crush on him. Rinko, because she has this suspicion on him. About him that she never thinks of. And our good Ochako. So, yeah, and because a couple times she did try to, like, flirt with him, but he doesn't understand it. But they thought it was just a normal conversation. But then when his own daughter or his own daughters explained it to him, and his face became from, like, confused look to having an embarrassing look on his face. She was flirting with me? I never tell. So, in the original script that I did for this What If, I was gonna make the Frog Girl the like the mate instead of Ochako. Because, yeah. So, but I decided, you know what? I just need Ochako. So, yeah. Because he's a reptilian, but, yeah. So then Zuko ends up, was embarrassed. His face becomes covered. As he was so embarrassed that even, like, he couldn't sleep because as his own daughters are like, don't think about it too much. As girls really like the guys. And so then the next day, after or let's say that was after the USJ thing, or after the sports festival. Then Zuko ends up basically, Ochako was like, what did he think about that? When at first when we explained it to him about you flirted with him, his face looked like he turns red as a tomato. Yeah. So then So, yeah. So now, for both sides, the Ochako and Rinko. I almost said because I actually drew a picture of Rancor, the from Star Wars. The Rancor. I literally drew a picture of a Rancor. Turning the Ochako. I can't even spell. Ochako. Into his wife. And yeah, it was just too funny. I almost died laughing about it. But I will not show it because So, let's get back into this what if. So, yeah. So, who would you choose to be a girlfriend of Zillow Beast? For me, just for entertainment things, it would have to go with Ochako because So, yeah. So, Ochako wins Zuku's heart. Like, basically, he does love his sister because he sees her as his sister. So then Ochako, who hangs out with him, or actually let's choose both too. I don't want to start out like who would be the best girl between Ochako and Rinko. Not Rincor. Sorry, I keep getting that. It's a stupid image that I had in my head. Yeah, so Zuko ends up dating both of them after the sports festival. So then the Camp Park. I'm skipping the internship because So now Zuko ends up going to, or he does. His sisters do, or not sisters, his daughters do guide him through because they're more they're like kind of like has the same intelligence as a super genius. So they kind of know everything about it. So Zuko basically, so both of them, because Ochako and Zuko, or no, Ochako and oh my goodness. You will never see a image of Ochako in a wedding dress, standing right next to a Rancor from Star Wars. Because, I don't know why. I meant to say Rinko, It's probably my nose. But yeah. Her. So they both dated him. Plus the camp park, and so the camp park ends up it goes differently. Muscular says, "You must be Zuko." Oh. Yeah. And who would you be? I'm muscular. That's not your actual name. It seems like a power of yours. Huh. You're a slippery turd, aren't you? So then the next minute, and then his transformation comes out, and he beats down Muscular like it was a rag doll, and so then he does capture, or so the villains did capture one of his daughters. That made him angry. As All Might, so that All Might versus All for One. All Might was down, broken limbs, as All for One says, "Any last words?" As All Might says, "Yeah, don't get stepped on, or no, don't get hit by the Zillow beast." What does that mean? Bam! As a foot comes out of nowhere, and he ends up hitting. So, Zillow beast Zuko hits All for One with enough force, or like a atomic blast thing, sending him flying backwards. And yeah, is his daughter's like, because he had two daughters, or he has two daughters, one on his shoulder, looking around. And there you are, sister. As, yeah. And it was her actual one. Because she knows that no one tries to fool anyone. So, yeah. She basically, or so she tried to, like, or she saw, like, her, but turns out it was Toga in disguise. But she got knocked in the head by the original. Oh, you can. So then yeah. So Zuko does eat the other guys as he turns his sights to basically. He does turn his sights to the Nomu as he grabs the Nomus, lifting them up. Her eating the brain cells and like, yeah. he does use his powers, like how Godzilla does the atomic breath thing because of his quirk. But instead, his gills on each side of his neck thing and his tail, they all glowed with like this red and blue aura, and shoots it out like cannon, like how Godzilla usually, but way more high pressured one. Yeah. So then after the All Might vs. All for One was done, they get questioned by a lot of news reporters of like who are they. Yeah, so Asashi was and let's say Zumi was there, her with Asashi, and says, or she did tell Asashi like the he's actually my brother. Actually, he's my brother, but he is also your son too. Wait, hold on, wait. I'll explain that later. As so, then after that, and Zumi did update Inko and Asashi, and Inko says, "I knew it was suspicions that he needed my blood for our blood for." So then they meet Zuko in the abandoned area. He's just sleeping in his human form, as he has like pants on, and he does lay in his own like tail as cushion thing. Yeah. He latches on to his own sister, or his own tail, sleeping, as his daughters were only ones that were awake and had to hear him snore all the time. They kind of understand that. Yeah. So they both walked over and basically, as Sasha's like, man, is he always like this? Yeah. The him. He's always snores a lot but when he snores, man, felt like an earthquake. So yeah. So when he gets up, because he had like lights, like basically sunlight in his eyes, as he wakes up, he still had the weird hair thing, but he needs like a haircut thing. As the Sashi or so Inko says, I'll cut it. Okay. So then they cut his hair. And Inko did tell Zuko that, how do you feel about being in this family? Because one of your genetics or so there was two sides, or two of your, like, parts of your DNA is actually from me and Shashi. So we're your biological parents. As he doesn't understand what that means, but he says, okay. As his sister, or no, his daughter explains it better to him. It means that your home, that, yeah. Okay. Yeah. As Inko's like, wow. He, most of the big words that you're trying to use, because he still has, like, the part of the his Zillow beast that sometimes he doesn't understand. Yeah. But you have to explain it slower to him. As they both says, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So then basically, so then the Inko, so now it's Ochako and Rinko finally decided, and no, I am not talking about Rencor, I'm talking about Renko, the Reick, I believe, or her, because they both watched that, and they know who it is. So it wasn't a surprise for them, so that they're dating a monster kaiju that's bigger than a mountain lady. Because I'm making the Zillow beast way more bigger than the, yeah. Because, yeah, he knows how to swim. So then he does, like, get in a suit and tie and, like, all that stuff. And, yeah. And he does, like, or they did give birth to, like, more kids, and they have similar to, like, traits as because half of the kids have gravity powers, basically, but they are still like that. Ezuku puts them in, like, little prison jail things because, he says that the our species rely on eating anything that fits in our mouths, like basically people, electricity, or meat. So, yeah. So then the human Pikachu's like, that's scary. You're saying that it can eat electricity? As his daughter comes out of nowhere, yes. The They it's like cotton candy for them. So if you're trying to use your electricity, human Pikachu, and before I go in to like why she came around the corner thing, is because off screen she she does tell her father that she's actually dating the one of the students of the UA, and she's picking the human battery, basically. The human Pikachu. Oh, because, yeah. So then that other girl chose, like, the Todoroki, actually. Because Momo got, or chose, was, like, Manetter over Todoroki because, yeah. It's just weird. So then yeah. So when they gave birth to, like, the kids, there was, like, basically one that had Todoroki. One was basically having powers of fire and ice and all that stuff. But yeah, I am not gonna get into that details because of time. But that's okay because I landed here. And if you guys want me to do a redo of this, but adding more and more details into this, what if? Let me know in the comments below, and have a good night or day. Depends on time zones. And yeah, so peace out.